Uncle Kenny.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Emma.
Good
How are you?
Yes, good afternoon. And
Good afternoon.
we've
The
been
sun's out.
yes, we've been talking about the International Steel Guitar Convention.
Yes.
And when last time we spoke, we talked about how you were playing with your pedal steel at the Texas Tavern.
Yeah.
And then you were there for about 3 or 4 years.
4 years.
And
yeah.
then you went to work for Kevin King
Kevin King. Yeah.
at the Crystal Palace Hotel
Yeah.
in George Street.
In George Street. Yeah.
And you were with him for quite a few years,
Yeah.
weren't you? You enjoyed that.
Yes.
Such a talented fellow, Kevin.
Yes. Yes.
And then while you were working very hard for Kevin, and you were also did travelling out west
Yes.
at the same time.
I used to get time off. And,
Yes.
and Kevin would bring in Warren Nilsson to fill in for me.
fill in for you, yeah.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yes, and that's around about the time in '73 when we met,
Yeah.
because we did travelling out west.
Yeah, that's
together.
right. Yeah.
That's another story.
That's another story. Yeah.
But anyway, one night, and we've spoken about this often, one night an American gentleman came in with his wife,
Yes.
and you didn't really know who he was, and he
Nobody did.
introduced himself to the band,
Yeah.
didn't he, and said he was coming back in a few weeks.
Yes.
And when he came back, he asked Kevin if he could say a few words.
Yes.
And it eventuated that gentleman was DeWitt Scott, who started off the Steel Convention in St. Louis, Missouri.
He was the president.
He was the president and the founder.
Yes.
And that night he came back and told you that he'd been looking for a steel player to represent Australia over at the International Steel Guitar Convention, which was the first international one in 1977.
Yeah.
So what happened when he came back and he asked Kevin if he could say a few words?
Oh, he just got up and he said, look, the audience here don't know, or the band don't know who I am, but I'm going to let you know that that I'm the president of the International Steel Guitar Convention in St. Louis, and we've been a bit round Australia to find a steel player to represent, and we found him, and here he is. So I was picked.
Knock you down with a feather.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was so moving for you,
It
wasn't it?
was moving, the tears were falling, of course.
Wow. And it turned out that he had a bit of a deal for you, didn't he? Because I remember you telling me he asked you who your favourite steel player was.
Yeah, that's right.
And you said Jerry Bird,
Jerry Bird.
who happened to live in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so he asked you, how would you like to see Jerry for a couple of days on your way over to St. Louis?
St. Louis, yeah.
And so that was a wonderful
That was
thing for you.
Yes.
Yeah. And Lee Britton went with you.
Lee came with me, yes. Yes.
It was good to have a mate.
Yes.
And also in that deal that he made with you was a record deal.
Right.
So he took you to Nashville and got some hot players for you.
Yeah.
And you made an album.
Yes.
An LP.
Yes.
Yeah. Wonderful.
And that was the first time I met Lloyd Green.
Okay.
At that session.
Right. Lloyd Green
and
being...
he sat down right in front of me while I was trying to record. So that was just fabulous,
And you met a lot of players at the festival, didn't you?
Yeah.
You've got a picture here. You might want to hold this picture up, do you?
Sure.
It's it won't just stand up by itself.
That's all right.
So it's got Jerry Bird on the right.
Yes.
And Speedy West.
Speedy West.
Then yourself in the middle.
Yeah.
Lloyd Green
Right.
and Herb Remington.
Remington.
Just move it a little bit in case there's the yeah. And so what an iconic picture that is. You're so proud of that, aren't
sure
you?
is.
Yeah. And so wonderful to be in that company.
Yeah, I won't forget that, I'll tell you.
No, you won't.
It's just fabulous.
Yeah. Thank you, Ken.
They're smiling all the
doing us that.
time.
Yes. Thank you, Ken.
That's all right, darling.
We'll
Anytime, Emma.
we'll tell a little bit more about meeting Jerry Bird for the first time.
Yeah.